All right, a little bit of album review time for Yeat Lifestyle album. I've gotten a pretty good amount of listens on it already, and I've got to a point where I feel pretty comfortable with how I feel about the album. I don't really think my opinion's going to change much from here on. Got me some notes here. No peeking. No peeking. We're going to start with the negative first. My criticisms for the album, of which there are two. Coming into this, I was honestly pretty excited about this album. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I really enjoyed 2093. I really enjoyed 2093. I think it's an excellent album. It really surprised me. I really enjoyed this narrative going through the album of all these different voices, these different semi-personas that exist within Yeat's mind that are all trying to vie for control over him, essentially. And I believe, I might be wrong now after some of this other stuff I had seen, but I believe the idea of 2093 was essentially trying to get to sobriety, get to that point, and just the struggle that ensues between all of these different egos that exist within Yeat. Pretty cool. It drew me back to the album a lot. I really liked just listening to these arguments going back and forth and trying to figure out which version of him was saying these things to the other version of him and all this other stuff. So coming into this, I was like, cool, man. I'm curious to see where he is now after this and if any kind of theme like that will carry forward. And no, it did not. And I think to me, that's the biggest disappointment for the album for me is lyrically, this feels like a big step back from what he did in 2093. And then two, with that, not only is there really no narrative, no theme, no overarching like story or anything like that, there are songs where he's literally just copy pasting lyrics. Like I think Geek Time is actually the first song off the album. I think literally the first verse is also the second verse, word for word. So you've essentially got these 90-second songs that are looped twice to make a 3-minute song, and it's kind of an odd decision. So I don't really understand that. I don't like that. And there isn't even like any necessarily like no variation in the beat. So we're just doing it again. Okay. So for me, that's the biggest letdown of the album. And then the other point of criticism, which is pretty minor, you're going through the album. You get in the back half. On One, Fly Troop, Eliminate, Line 5 Fun. I don't really have a lot of interest in those songs. I don't think that they're bad. I don't want to necessarily skip them. But for me, they're all just kind of okay. And when you get 2, 3, 4 okays in a row, I just start losing interest in the album and then I don't want to finish it. Which is unfortunate because I feel like the album finishes strong. So we'll get into some tracks, like New High. When you roll into New High, I like New High. I like So What? I like God Talking Shh. I really like Forever Again. And I think that's part of this little like lull that I feel in the second half of the album was I really enjoy Forever Again and I really enjoy New High, but the songs between those are just kind of down in this valley. And so I go, they kind of sound a little similar. They're kind of the same tempo. There's just not a lot of variety between them. Although with Eliminate, I do chuckle because the way he spits out the word eliminate, to me it sounds like lemonade sometimes. So he's just going, lemonade, lemonade. And I laugh when I hear that. That aside, overall, I think it's a good album. I think it's a good album. It's a solid album. I really like the good, just rich production, the quality of the sound that's coming through. Props to Synthetic and crew for just getting a lot of good layers of rich sound and maintaining just a good, clean sound without the sound getting muddy and layers getting mixed in within each other. Favorite tracks for me, let's see, what do we got? I really like Speedball. Really like Orchestrate. The Coasts. The Coasts is another one I really like. Gone for a Minute I really like. Forever Again might be my favorite, even though it's just like this kind of out of the blue popish trap Yeat song. but it's cool. I like it. New High sounds great. That's another thing too with the features. All the features sound good. Some people were saying, I've seen some comments about what was it, Kodak Black and how he sounded, and some people criticizing the mixing. I feel like that's like a new hobby these days. Maybe it's always been part of hip hop to criticize the mixing. Maybe it's just a music nerd thing for, I don't know, online people. I don't know, but I feel like this is like the new thing of just always talking about the mixing. But I like that he's all crunchy in that. To me, it makes sense in terms of like the musical theme of the album, just this persistent sound that's going through the album. Overall, all the features sound pretty good, and I do enjoy the sound. And with the lack of lyrics, that's really what we're all here for, right? It's just these cool beats. And I was saying during the reaction, and I still feel this way too. They've done this really interesting job of mixing these sounds that sound like they belong in like this like rager, high intensity song, but they've kept the tempo down a little bit, so it's not like I said during the reaction at one point. I feel like this album is kind of chill, but it's not chill. Like it's cold fire, if that makes any sense. Like I don't know. I like it. I like that it's almost like it's all just bubbling under the surface, and every now and then it kind of erupts a little bit, but it never really like just blows off like a volcano, if that makes any sense. So yeah, there you go. That's how I feel about the album. Now he talks about at the end, what was it, Dangerous Life, I think is the name of this supposed next album. And some people were showing me like links or little bits from an interview that was recent, and I guess Dangerous Life is supposed to come fairly soon, and then Yeat's going to go away for a while and work on this life-changing project or something. I'm probably going to skip the next one and wait for the big one that he wants to work on. I'm really curious to see what he does in terms of like narrative and stuff like that. I'm curious. He gave us a taste on 2093. And when I listen to Lifestyle, I feel like there's a good refinement of the sound that's happening. So if you've got, basically we've got these two ingredients. We've got this cool narrative thing that he's done. Now you've got this great sound that's happening. If you can marry those two and just make this fucking killer electronic, futuristic, trap story album, that'd be fucking cool. That'd be very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Take care, y'all. We'll see you soon.